guys, well, here I go. I'm doing some cold air intake modifications. Before I had the cold air inductions kit, and this is for just the 6.2 SS, so it's kind of like a 90-degree bend there. And what I'm about to do is just go ahead and cut this thing and modify it. I'm kind of nervous, well, not really nervous, but it just kind of sucks that I gotta cut up such a beautiful intake tube and all that kind of stuff, but hey, it must get done. I figure I can modify mine, and that's gonna save me money instead of actually buying a new unit. I know I can get a little rubber elbow coupler or whatever, but then again, I want to keep the hose attachment and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna just go ahead and use what I got and see how this works out. Time to get chopping. All right, well, here it goes. I've already split it in half. I made a cut. I gotta do a cut on the bend there on that tape line. I'm gonna do one on the Sharpie line, and then I'll have to add a center coupler, and it should be something like this. Hopefully this will really work out. Honestly, I'm not sure, but I think I'm onto something. Okay, so I got everything chopped down almost to the appropriate size. It just appears that I need to give this a little bit of space. I'm quite tight here, so I'm gonna do a little bit of a relief cut, because I would also like the cold air intake filter to slide all the way back to the back of the box on that wall, and I have roughly about an inch of space there. So if I take an inch off here where this line is roughly, then this whole thing will be able to slide back closer towards the throttle body, and I should be set. So one more cut, and of course I'm gonna have to buy a rubber coupler for the middle section there, but I believe I achieved my goal. Just sharpied up a nice clean line with this worm clamp that I have. Release the clamp, slice, and then when I come back, everything should be good. Of course, I'm gonna have to knock off those burrs and stuff like that, but overall, I'm on to something. You guys, if you have an SS and you're going to a Z01, it appears that with a little bit of time and a little bit of cutting, you can continue to use your old cold air intake tube and modify it to adapt to a Z01 supercharger. Well guys, the mod worked out perfectly. Let's go ahead and zoom in so you can take a look. Here's the modification of the SS intake tube, in which I basically created a shorty out of Z01 style. The reason I couldn't use the SS tube before is just because of the way the 90-degree bend was in the position of the throttle body. It would not mount properly into the cold air intake box. I still wanted to keep that box, therefore I had to modify the tube, and this was now in the correct position. Just with a little bit of chopping, as you guys seen in the beginning of the video, up until this point. This thing is super secure. I'll be able to hit bumps, do donuts, burnouts, whatever I want. Wouldn't be an issue at all. Cold air inductions hasn't failed me, and it's not gonna fail me now. One of the reasons I really like this actual cold air intake kit here is because of the heat shrink that's inside. That way, as it's sucking in cold air from underneath the car, it's kind of keeping that protected and cold as it shoots through the tube into the supercharger now. And the hot air that's coming off the headers and everything like that will stay in the engine bay. So that's the cool part. Plus the lid, and it's the acrylic top and all that, which is really nice. So I made sure that I saved some space here. As you can see, the sensor right here will just plug in, and there's plenty of clearance from the power steering pulley there, so I wouldn't have an issue there. Now you guys got to let me know. I kind of went for styling look. Normally that sensor's on this side, so I could rotate this tube and have the sensor on this side. I'm gonna call this side the cold side. I'm gonna call this side the hot side. It's not totally on the header, so we'll just kind of see about that. See how this performs. But overall, this modification turned out great, and I'm happy. I'm still behind on the whole supercharger build itself, but we're making some progress. These are Holley Performance LS tall valve covers, and these are working out great. They actually clean up the look over here. I like how they have the coils angled, and there's no bracket in between the valve cover and the actual coils themselves. They're just directly on there. Plus, this gives me plenty of space without it being tight before. With the stock valve covers, you couldn't really plug in the fuel injection harness. Now I have plenty of clearance to do so. That was one of the issues you're fighting with before when you're going from SS to Z01 with the blower. Now, in the last video, the thumbnail said 9K in parts. Obviously, you guys didn't see a full 9K in parts, and I don't like to talk about money that much, but I'm gonna just clear up a little bit of the wondering, how's this 9K? Because yes, I have A&N fittings, and we had some braided line for that, and yes, a cool pulley, but that doesn't increase that supercharger price that much. The other parts that weren't seen were these valve covers that I just showed you and spoke about, as well as the Stage 2 BTR LSA blower kit that I bought, and then the DOD/VVT kit that I bought, and as well as one cosmetic item like this radiator cover plate, this Anderson Composites. Well, for the rear of the car, I have an Anderson Composites carbon fiber diffuser that I still need to install, and that was probably about $1,500–1,600 retail, although I didn't pay the retail because I got sponsorship pricing, which I can't disclose. That is the other items added to the blower to get that price around that total. I don't just do clickbait thumbnails. If I put it up there, I actually really meant that. But getting past money, what I would like to do next is clean this up. And this heater hose, the way this is running, is just not pleasing to me to the eye. So I'm gonna slice this band off here, and then I can maneuver the hoses one by one, and then I'm gonna zip tie them over here to the passenger side of the car. I'll make sure that they're not pinched or choked up or anything like that, just to secure them out the way. And the cool part is these have plenty of length going all the way down to the thermostat there, that I can easily chop off some, so when I pull it over, I can cut off whatever amount of access I need to clean that up. And if that doesn't work out for me, what I'll do is I'll just buy the original heater hose relocation kit, which will probably be about $120 shipped to my house. But I think I can go ahead and get this thing modified. Cold air intake work turned out to be great, and I'm very satisfied. Anyhow, guys, that'll be it for this video. Stay tuned for part 3, and hopefully I can get into some more of the work in the heads, have the front bumper off, so I can go ahead and get to the dampener and pull that, and we can get to some cam action or something. We're getting there, we're moving along. Keep on rocking with me, and I'll rock with you. Thanks, and your boy is out. Let's get some beauty shots though.